Acnologia's biggest secret revealed. Acnologia. This name alone represents by far the most vicious being within the entire fairy tale world as far as what we've seen up until this point. I mean, with a reputation much like Acnologia's, where he's absolutely notorious, known worldwide, his name reaches across nations for playing a role in which he actually instilled pure chaos into the dragon civil war, neither siding with humans nor dragons within the war, and overall just having a goal of slaying members of both sides of the war. Who wouldn't consider this man to be the strongest and most vicious being that exists within the story of fairy tale? However, with the little amount of information that we actually know about Acnologia, that leaves a large amount of room within the story for speculation. Now, people talk about things such as his past so much, and as well, a question that I see actually a lot around the fairy tale community in regards to Acnologia as a character has to do with what his magic actually is. Now, we're aware of the fact that Acnologia is a dragon slayer. That part is extraordinarily obvious, so you cannot miss it whatsoever. However, the question is, where did his dragon form come from? The general myth that actually surrounds Acnologia's transformation from a human into a dragon says that he actually slayed the dragon that initially taught him his dragon slayer magic many years ago, and in return actually bathed in its blood, so much that he turned into a dragon himself. However, this is a myth, and in my personal opinion, a myth that just makes no sense whatsoever. Now, since the release of both Fairy Tail Chapter 514 and 515, many people are attributing Acnologia's transformation into a dragon to that of the dragon seed. However, the flaw with this idea in general is just the fact that Acnologia is actually able to transform from a dragon back into a human at will, and vice versa. However, in the case of people like Eileen, she was stuck a dragon for many years on end until Xerath was actually able to change her mere physique from a dragon back into a human. But when it does come down to it, at this current point in time, she is still a dragon. So how is Acnologia actually able to utilize such transformations to begin with? Well, what if his transformation actually has nothing to do with the dragon seed or this flawed myth whatsoever? What if Acnologia actually utilizes a special type of magic, a magic that no other dragon slayer utilizes, which in return actually allows him to turn into a dragon himself? You're probably listening to this video right now and thinking to yourself, Senpai, calm down. You have just lost your mind at this point. And to a certain extent, you could argue that I have, but just give me a second here. I will explain what I'm trying to get at. Now, the description of this ability, the ability to transform into something at your own will. What type of magic does it remind you of? A better question, who does it remind you of? Well, for me, it reminds me of none other than Mira Jane and her multiple takeovers, an example actually being Satan's soul. What I actually believe is that Acnologia may not have an actual dragon form like many believe. No. I think that Acnologia's dragon form could actually be a mere takeover, much like Mira Jane's Satan's souls. There's a general theory as well that is going around the fairy tale community right now in regards to Acnologia's character, where people actually believe he extracts the souls of the victims that he kills, seeing as he strikes at this specific place for every single victim that you've seen him kill so far. Two examples I can personally think of off the top of my head right now is Igneal and God Serena, where in both instances he actually striked and killed around the left abdomen area of the character. With the way that Mira Jane's magic works in mind, how she actually has to physically harvest the souls of demons and whatnot, I think that it's possible that Acnologia actually works the same way and actually has to harvest the souls of dragons and dragon slayers. In that instance, I believe that it's possible that Acnologia's dragon form, the form that we've seen him in multiple times now, could have even been the dragon that taught him his dragon slayer magic. Now, what I mean by this is I think that when he slayed his own dragon, he harvested dragon soul, and in return, Acnologia took on the form of his own dragon. I want to actually go and take a moment to revisit the whole dragon seed theory that now surrounds Acnologia with the recent chapters of Fairy Tail with Eileen and whatnot, a theory which I believe, when it comes down to it, makes literally no sense whatsoever. Again, Acnologia has never taken part in the process of dragonization, a process that takes place when the dragon seed sprouts within the dragon slayer's body, and a process that literally has no return from the dragon form once they reach that form. We can tell this because Acnologia can freely switch between both his dragon and human form, so I have no doubt in my mind that there is no correlation between the dragon seed and Acnologia's current dragon form. As well, when it comes to the dragon seed, I do believe that every single dragon slayer actually has one. Now, with that in mind though, there's definitely a gray area with this theory, and that is the question of what keeps Acnologia from turning into a dragon and what keeps the seed sprouting at bay. Now, I do believe the dragons of the other dragon slayers actually created the antibodies for the dragon seed specifically, so that in return the dragon slayers would not turn into dragons themselves. However, in the case of Acnologia, it's very obvious that he never had a dragon to create those antibodies, so I really cannot say the same. So I want to actually hear your guys' opinion in the comment section below, and I want to actually engage in a speculation in regards to what could possibly be preventing Acnologia from taking part in the process of dragonization in the instance that this theory actually is true. Now, speaking of this theory, a huge shout out goes out to Natsu for actually commenting about this theory on one of my recent videos. You absolutely rock, man. That's going to do it for this video, though. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and you want more fairy tale content from me. Peace.